the Twitter dialogue on that. Oh my god, it would go so fast from Dirty Thug get him out the league to look at him. I knew he was a hunting brother and stuff. Nah, that's so nasty.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me take it away with
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Cole, DC, UPenn's finest, and Chris Culture, CB, Culture Boy. We got another great episode for you guys today. There's so much to talk about in the NBA world. Head coaching firings. Danny's 76ers just released Doc Rivers. Monty Williams got fired by the Phoenix Suns, and then Mike Budenholzer was fired by the Milwaukee Bucks. And then, of course, the NBA draft lottery is tonight. This may or may not come out before or after the draft, but we are still or the lottery, but we're still going to talk about it. And then, of course, we'll recap a little bit of the series that we won, and then we'll talk about the conference finals. But since we have a lot to talk about, we're going to get right into the coaching hirings. But before any of that, fellas, how are we doing today?
We've been talking about all these players going to Wemby land and who's getting Wemby for a long time. Tonight, we find out who is getting the 7'5" unicorn.
Yeah, I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling really good. I think
I'm in Portugal, man.
And Danny's feeling better than everybody. I'm feeling good because I seen Asia Wilson today. I think it was yesterday for media day for the Aces, and she had on some custom Generation 1s, LeBrons with her grandma's face on it. That was really, really cool. And it was like white and pink. It was really nice. That was dope. I thought that was cool.
That was dope. Well, before we get into the head coaching hirings, if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe. We're on the road to 200 subs. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, head on over to the YouTube, like and subscribe. And while you're on the audio platforms, leave a download, give us a 5-star rating. We're looking to grow this podcast. You guys have been doing a great job in helping us do that. Now, moving on to the head coach firings. Danny, I'll task you with the 76ers. You just lost Doc. Can you give me your opinion on that, and who would you like to see the Sixers go after?
So apparently there's a report out that Harden won't be back if Doc's back. So step one is if you want Harden back, there you go, right? What I think they should do is trade Harden, go get whatever you want for him, and then go pair up Chris Paul with his other coach, Monty Williams, and bring him to Philadelphia. I think he would play really well with Joel Embiid, a little lob threat. You saw what he did. If you let Chris Paul play with Embiid as a lob threat, work off him.
I think at this facet, because Monty would obviously use Chris in a different way. But he would essentially be the same thing that Harden was, just without the scoring and a little bit of elevated playmaking. I don't even know how much at this point in his career.
And that playmaking is what you need because Maxey has the scoring. You want Maxey to elevate his game.
I don't know. Well, I mean, of course, only time will tell how well Maxey will handle more scoring on his plate. I do see your vision, though. Eventually, you got to put more on his plate. Whether he's proven it yet or not, time will tell. I'm a big Maxey guy. I'm just a little nervous how much scoring load he can handle as a true 2. He did it for a little bit for the first half of the 2021-2022 season when Ben went MIA. So you would like to see Monty Williams fill in the role, which I think he'll.
I like the internal hire, move an assistant coach up.
Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of teams should lolook to do that, though. No, you're good. But a lot of teams should look to do that because the Celtics,
yeah.
Sam Cassell would be a very good one.
I think he'd be good.
Yeah, and look at the Celtics. They've had 2 assistants alone do very well this year. So Will Hardy was very good for the Jazz. First year coach Mazzulla, again, 19 days before the season started, was told he's going to be head coach. He did well. First year head coach last year, Ime Udoka did a very good job. When we hired Brad Stevens was one of the most beloved coaches in the NBA. I remember in the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, there was legit debate, which corny debate, but it was like who was actually more important in this series, like Brad Stevens or LeBron James. It was clearly LeBron, but that was just to show how good
How good
Brad
he
was.
was.
Yeah. So, Chris, I know, we know Monty Williams out of the building for the Suns, and apparently, this is just rumor. Do not take my word for it. Apparently, this was something that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker requested, and if that was true, Chris, I want to hear your opinion. Why do you think the two-star players will come to that conclusion? Why would the organization do it? And who could fill in for Monty to control this talented team?
Yeah. The one reason why I think that they would sign off on a Monty firing is because, for one, Monty's always been known as a players coach, and being a players coach is one thing, but if your top players aren't favorable of you, then it won't work out in your favor. So I think maybe Book and KD may not have liked Monty as much as Chris Paul or as other players. And then on the same point, they probably understand that you're kind of probably stuck with Aiden to an extent, or you've paid him already. So it's like if Aiden was bumping heads with Monty, it's like he's the more easier piece to move, and you can replace him with another guy. So I think it'll be more of like another players coach type of thing goes in there, but I wonder who. I think Monty was the right guy for the job. Honestly, I think you have to give him a full year and a full training camp to really see what he can do. But I mean, in reality, the next best available players coach, in my opinion, would probably be Doc Rivers. So I could see them going to get Doc just because he appeases to stars. And if you're going to build around your two stars, which seems like they're going to do, that would just make sense to me. I mean, like I said, I thought Monty was doing good with what he had. Like I said, he lost his point guard and his center kind of quit on him. So he really was out there 2.5 against 5. So it was difficult, but yeah, that's my take on it. That's why I think that two players like that would sign off on that, especially KD and the Book seem like Book especially is more mild-mannered in my opinion. So I would think that it had to be something like that. Like they know they're in a spot where they have to keep Aiden. So you like got to make the team gel, then find a coach to help too.
Yeah, I think a lot of things like Monty early on, his first 2 years. Doc Rivers is someone as well. I think they're just poor managers of stars. Brad Stevens was a horrible manager of stars. He had too many talented guys, and he didn't know how to tame them. Now, like Monty Williams, like he did awesome in his first year, where Devin Booker was still all-star level, wasn't like superstar level guy.
Yeah.
CP3 on the back end of his career, he did amazing. Doc Rivers had that AC to Clippers team that took 2 games off the KD Warriors. That was awesome. But then you give these guys stars. You give Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, James Harden, and they can't pass second round. Which, granted, we'll head to Mike Budenholzer in a second. With Doc, yeah, Doc needed to be fired. I do agree with that. I think he needed to be fired. My thing is, it's gonna look like it was his fault when, quite frankly, the guys with the big contracts like Tobias Harris, he didn't show up all series until the last game. Tyrese Maxey was very inconsistent. As much as I love him, he was very inconsistent. Same with James Harden. And God damn it, it's so sad to see Joel Embiid go out like that, because I did defend this man a lot. And like I will going forward as one of my favorite players. I'm going to go to bat for him. But like that was from like once the Celtics went double big, I don't know. I don't know if he just lost confidence. I don't know what it was. I know me and Danny were talking about this before. It just looked like he was out of it. And we can get back to that later. But with Mike Budenholzer, what I wanted to say was he should have been fired a long time ago. I just don't think he was. I think he's another another coach who's just not good with stars. Like he was a good coach in Atlanta, and then he just gets out coached by a player, not David Blatt or like Ty Lue. He just got out coached by LeBron James. And then, I mean, and look, everyone wants to say like, oh, well, if you take away that championship, then he should have got fired. Oh, well, you can say that about a lot of people. He won a championship, but again, he's the opposite of Thibodeau. Like, why is Giannis playing like 35 minutes in must-win games? Why is Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday not playing all these minutes in must-win games? And it's a problem. And his failure to make adjustments. I don't expect anybody to outcoach Eric Spoelstra. How often has that even happened? Like, Ime Udoka is a phenomenal coach. He got outcoached by Spoelstra and got bailed out by the sheer talent of the Boston Celtics a while back when Spoelstra was still like semi-new to the coaching scene head coaching scene. Greg Popovich did it. Greg Popovich is the GOAT coach. But like Mike Budenholzer, you got circles ran around you by Eric Spoelstra. And it's simply inexcusable when you're the 1 seed, you're that talented of a team. It's very sad to go out. I would like the Bucks to get, since Danny already said Monty. To be quite frank, I think they should go get Nick Nurse. They kind of are built like all the Raptors teams that Nick Nurse had. These are just large defensive bodies with length. They can score. I would honestly hate to see what Nick Nurse would do defensively with these guys. It would probably be equivalent to a couple war crimes committed back in the 2000s. But
Wow.
I think Nick Nurse would be a good spot in Milwaukee. I think he could try to run back a similar scheme to the 2019 Kawhi team, except just it's with Giannis, and maybe Giannis can, do some stuff in the offseason, maybe get that jumper together, because his playoff play has been very questionable. The numbers look good, but you can tell, like, if you give him a little bit more attention, things will go south. But with all that being said, we're going to move on to the draft lottery. As it stands right now, the Rockets, Spurs, and Pistons have the best odds to land Victor Wembanyama. The Hornets are right behind them at, I believe, a 12.5% chance to get the number 1 overall pick. Very last is the Pelicans, who have a 0.5, but, don't sleep. Anything can happen. That would be Adam Silver cooking to get Zion and Victor on the same team.
Bishop will have a heart attack. They will have a heart attack.
Oh my God. And OKC has a 1.7% chance, I believe. So
please, Lord God, please let it happen.
A double lineup of Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama be so nasty. But Danny, we haven't got to talk to you in a while, man. I'm sorry. But what's your dream spot for Vic?
My dream spot for Vic is the Orlando Magic. Him and Paolo Banchero would be a phenomenal young duo for the next 10 years. I think this team immediately is a 6 seed in the East.
Ooh.
Yeah, Danny, that's not bad. Not a bad take. I don't think so. No, it's good. I like that.
Yeah, I see that, man. Because they don't really have, like, a real set. Like Bobo's cool. He's really cool, but...
they drafted Mo Bamba because he was fast.
Cool. Yeah, I think Wendell Carter's cool. I like Wendell Carter. I do a little bit. I think he's a good plug-and-play center, not a.
And also, Vic can play alongside a lot of these young centers. Like, he can play the 4 because, like, some people think he's not big enough to play center yet. But
Paolo Banchero is not going to. I mean, Paolo Banchero was phenomenal his rookie year, but Victor Wembanyama is not going to be some typical rookie. He's going to come into the league and punch you in your mouth, and you're going to be like, "Well, this guy's 20 years old."
Yeah, I think because that's the thing. He's coming from playing pro ball overseas. It's not like he's already used to this physical. Because first of all, almost every overseas league is more physical. Almost everyone, like any top tier overseas league, they're very physical. They play like FIBA rules. So I think Vic does have an advantage there, and I like that point. Not quite literally, he's going to beat you with his toughness, but he's super finesse. He's a good scorer. He can put the ball on deck. What other person do you see shooting step back threes, missing it, and then putting back his own shot? It's truly special. And it's not just the highlights with him. He is good at basketball IQ. Like the NBA app streams his games, and he does a good job playing through the flow of the game. He's not necessarily like bringing up the ball or anything, but he does it on occasion. And he also plays with Celtics legend Tremont Waters, so it helps out a lot.
LSU legend, by the way.
I just did a simulation on Tankathon, and OKC got the number 1 overall pick.
A couple people have done simulations today, and either OKC or like Portland have got the number 1 overall pick. What'd be funny? If Portland got the number 1 overall pick, it would kind of be like with AD, who requested a trade a couple years ago, but he almost had no leverage because the Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick. So it was like, we don't really have to trade you. But the Lakers had the 3rd pick, so it kind of made things easier. But yeah, Chris, so Danny would like to see Wemby on the Magic. Where would you like to see Vic?
Yeah, I like Danny's pick a lot, because I don't know if people know, but like the Magic like the 7th best team in the NBA like after All-Star break. So I think adding Victor would be crazy. So I'm with you on that, Danny. But it's too
Markelle Fultz. Don't sleep on Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz is a dog.
Fultz and Cole Anthony should be the backcourt. Get Jalen Suggs out of there. But in the
Unfortunately.
thing in the
He's nice though. Come on.
for the team. Yeah, no, I do like Jalen Suggs, but I think dream scenario for Victor is the Pistons, and I say it because I think he's a power forward in the NBA today, like his best spot because he doesn't have to defend big five and stuff like that. So I think you put him with the Pistons, you can have him during Wiseman's there as well, so he doesn't have to always protect the paint. He can be more of a help defender and roam on defense. And then on offense, you have creators with them in Cade and Jaden Ivey. And then you also have the attention that Cade and Jaden Ivey will command. So you have Victor should have more one-on-ones, more ways to play and really show his talent at the elbow, in the post, outside the post, three-point line. I think that's the place where he can really show his versatility the most is in Detroit. So I think Detroit would be a dream scenario because then they can play 7-footers all the time with Duran, Bagley still there, with Wemby, with Wiseman. So like, whatever you do to have size and length at the rim. So I think it'd be
Just run that lineup.
John, can I guess who you?
Case is 8 too. So you stop.
Can I guess who your dream lineup is?
You
right here?
You mean dream spot or?
Yeah, his dream spot right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's him and LaMelo Ball.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Yes,
what I want.
Yes, that was going to be. Well, I said on my Instagram the Pistons were my favorite spot. One, kind of for the opposite reason Chris said. It's because it's so the Pistons can like give up on these bust centers. Like just, it's nice. It's very cool that you're giving Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman like a very nice chance, but let it go. They can't
like Frozen said, right? Like Frozen said, let it go.
Yeah, let it go. But yes,
these boys are frozen in 2018.
I was going to say the Charlotte Hornets because first of all, out the gate, Charlotte Hornets are going to get Miles Bridges back. Whether that is ethically right by the NBA or not, that ain't up to me. But
he's coming back.
Yeah, he's gonna. So So here's how it went. He got a 30-game suspension, but what they deemed is he served 20 last season. But he wasn't on a team, so I don't know how he could serve the suspension. So he's gonna miss the first 10 games.
John Morant might get more games suspended. John Morant might get more games suspended than him.
Yes, for flashing a gun while Miles Bridges beat a woman.
This is the second time John did. What? Second time.
I think that. Okay, so I think
Josh is dumb, bro.
Yeah, Ja. I don't.
They called him NBA Dumbboy.
It's like, and it's not even like with Ja. I don't even want to say like he's not like violating any legal rights or anything. Like you can have a firearm, but like it's more than that. You're being such a poor image to kids who look up to you. There are kids are in that situation who want to be in your situation. And we went over this before.
I think it's past that. I think it's even past that. I think it's past that, y'all. I think this is the problem with Ja flashing the gun. I know we're not talking about that, but this I think the problem. He just got a slap on the wrist by the NBA. They didn't like he got let off for doing it in the club. So it's almost like a slap in the face almost because he's not doing anything ethically or not even like morally wrong or even like it's not illegal, but it's a simple fact that he had just got in trouble for it and then they just let him off kind of easy. Bro. And then it's like now he goes back doing it.
Imagine Jokic was going hunting deer over in Lithuania where he's from.
We do. I do not need it.
He posting up shooting guns, killing deer. Like
I do not need to see that. The Twitter dialogue on that. Oh my god, it would go so fast from Dirty Thug get him out the league to look at him. I knew he was a hunting brother and stuff. Nah, that's so nasty. But anyway, going back to the Charlotte Hornets, what like Chris said with Detroit, I think Wemby would play a huge role with Mark Williams, who me and Chris are huge fans of.
Hey, me too.
Mark
I did my 2K rebuild. I told you.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. So look, he can play alongside Mark Williams, who can be the center of the future for them, or at least a solid piece of their core. You bring Miles Bridges back, you get an impact player immediately like Vic. LaMelo Ball is obviously an all-star caliber player in this league. And just like that, you go from bottom of the bunch to you could easily fight for a play-in spot. You could probably get yourself a real play-in spot or playoff spot, depending how a couple other off seasons go. But yeah, I would love to see Vic there. Stylistically, I think he'd fit very well with LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams, Miles Bridges. It would honestly look like another variation of Lob City. Because that's just another person LaMelo can put it up to. And you already know he loves putting up with Miles Bridges, Mark Williams. So yeah, I think that's a very good spot. Another unrealistic spot that I don't know if I want him to go there, but it would be fun if he went to the Mavericks. Him and Boy Wonder, that would be fun. Him and Luca teaming up with if Kyrie stays or goes, no one knows. But
Hey,
yeah,
I
so
think
yeah,
Houston would be cool too for the simple fact him and Şengün in the front court. It's like they were missing some playmaking, and you can get Şengün and
yeah.
Victor up there with scores like Jalen Green and Porter and Jabari Smith. I think that would just be a wonderful collection of talent. And then give Ime Udoka that. I think that'd be interesting.
The Harden Wemby pick and roll will be out of control.
And then I fear Jaylen Brown's on the wing, Tona.
He's not. Look, dog. He's not going nowhere. Once we win
He's
this
not passing
NBA
up that
Finals,
300 M's anyway.
come on, man. We win the NBA Finals, 300 M's. Insert dog getting a haircut gif. Come on, man. I need it. So what will we? Let's move on to the Lakers versus the Nuggets. That's happening tonight. Chris, what? Honest opinion, of course. What should we be looking out for this series, and what's your prediction?
Well, I'll give you my prediction. My prediction is legitimately Lakers in 6. And the reason I think it is because I think it's going to be a clash of styles. So I think whoever does win this series, I think it'll be either Lakers in 6 or Denver in 6. But I got the Lakers, but I think it'll be a clash in style. So simple fact, I think the Nuggets offense is crazy potent when their role players are rolling. And when they get their players going, I think the offense is almost unstoppable because you're playing through a center. Same thing we talking about with Şengün and Victor, but it's just like times 12 with Jokic, playing through those guys. And you have everybody cutting off them shooting threes. If their offense can flow, then Lakers are cooked. But if AD can limit Jokic and where I think AD can, like I said, it's not even coming from a fan or past teammate perspective. This is just a fact of Anthony Davis' defensive ability. If he can limit Jokic to make him be a volume scorer like they did with Curry, then I think the Lakers win out because I think the Lakers role players can match the role players. And then you go star for star. I'll have to take the duo of LeBron and AD over Murray and Jokic slightly because Jokic is right now the best player in the world, in my opinion. So I take Bron and AD duo going against them if the role players can cancel out and work it out. So that's what I said.
I like the vision there, Danny. If you want to take the mic,
I'll tell you this: Anthony Davis doesn't need to come out here and blow the game out of the water. All he needs to do is make sure that he's matching what Jokic is doing because what the Lakers have that the Nuggets don't have, these players, these role players, other than Jamal Murray. You can't tell me LeBron James is not going to do better than Jamal Murray. Like, you can't convince me that. I don't care if my head's on backwards. Like, the Martian's got the death beam. Bro, the Martian's got the death beam pointed at Earth. I am taking LeBron James every single day over Jamal Murray. I don't care if he's 50. I'm taking Michael Jordan today over Jamal Murray. Don't quote me on that.
You don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
He said, I don't believe that.
But anyway, I'll give some stats. Anthony Davis has averaged 25.6 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists against Nikola Jokic's career, while Jokic has only averaged 18.6 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. That's a lot worse than Jokic's career averages, and that just speaks to Anthony Davis' defense's presence. I think the Nuggets can get a few games, but if their role players don't step up, they're cooked. They are cooked.
And I fear Tristan Thompson will be getting minutes in this series. I fear it. He will.
Lakers in 6.
I'm calling it.
So the problem with career numbers versus
last 5 years,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, because Jokic's career started in 2016. Situations, you can toss that all out the window. Here's the thing. Anthony Davis, his bread and butter on defense is our perimeter players are going to foil everything in, and I'm going to send it to Mars. And I'm going to contest every single shot. What do we do when the guy you have to guard is the point guard and he's bringing you out top of the key? And then he swings it to Aaron Gordon, who could get the mismatch of a smaller Austin Reeves on him. I'm not downing the ability of the Lakers perimeter defense. This is the number one defense in the playoffs, and they've been superb. It's going to be a little different, though. The last two teams they played, their best player was a point guard. That ain't AD's job. AD had Jaren Jackson Jr., who can stretch the floor, but his main role was playing on the
But you're
post.
telling me
And
Kevon
then,
Looney's not the Warriors' best player?
unfortunately, not. He's
I
got
see it
he had
being
he got
Patrick
an
Baldwin
argument for their
Jr.
second best player because my God, that team was bad. But anyway, with Nikola Jokic being able to bring Anthony Davis out of the paint, I think the Nuggets players would be able to do a good job in spacing the floor, getting to the rim, getting easy looks, because that team moves the ball better than anybody in the league.
It rivals the
And
Nuggets back in the early 2010s, honestly. Not even kidding. Like how they move the ball, it does.
yeah, that one year with Iggy.
Honestly.
People forget Iggy was a Nugget for 1 year. I honestly thought that was like a dream at one point. I was just like, did he go from Sixers right to Golden State, or where's the bridge here?
Dude, and he had that yellow sleeve. I remember that. Oh, so nasty.
Yeah. One year Denver Iggy. But nonetheless, I think because of that, I think this is a look the Lakers team has not seen yet. I'm gonna go Nuggets in 7. I think this is gonna be a very good series. And if LeBron, so Darvin Ham said like LeBron has a second gear that he's waiting to kick off on. It better be now, because me and Chris know we're not holding. Like, I'm not holding LeBron to LeBron standards, but I'm also not holding him to just good player standards. I'm holding him to top 10 in the world standards, and like 22, 8 and 5 with how he's turning the ball over. With he's not really scoring that efficient. It's not going to get it done. But if he can kick into the second gear, maybe my decision changes. But if he's going to play, lethargic and just shoot up them threes and not have that quick first step, like if he plays how he didn't play in Game 6, the Lakers are going to be screwed. Because I think tick for tack, I think all the role players will go. I think the role players will go shot for shot, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have a game where Bruce Brown and Austin Reeves are going to be head into a 30-piece, and we're just going to get out the way, and them two are going to go at it. But let's wrap things up.
Hey, I have one more thing too, so one more thing.
Dennis
go
Schroeder's going to go head to head with him.
One thing about the
Even
Lakers. One thing about the Lakers. The only thing. Lakers Nuggets in that series. I think the one thing, Tone, you mentioned is one thing I've been thinking of as a positive. So we've had positive, negative. So this is the thing. I think Jokic being away from the rim as the playmaker works to the Lakers' advantage. And the only reason I say that is because Jokic's 35, 15, and 8, that kills you. Jokic 20, 15, and 10, you got a better chance, in my opinion. Because when Jokic is killing you on the points and the role players are going, then you're in trouble. If he's really just playmaking and passing, I think you have a little bit better of a chance. But I think to raise your point, like I said, I think it can go either way. But that was the one thing in my head. I'm like, shoot, if Jokic is away from the rim, then if he's at 30 feet, then we're going to have to lose with Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter killing us, and Bruce Brown, I guess, just have to. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. But yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. I could definitely see that world, and we'll see. The Lakers haven't played this style yet. But moving on to the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics beat down the 76ers ultra miserably. They destroyed the Sixers. Heat kind of just had their way with the Knicks. And here we are. We're rematched 3 times in the last 4 years. It's almost like these two teams run the East when they don't have 4 weeks to get ready for the next season. Yeah. But here, this is going to be fun. Talent-wise, I'm going to tell you right now, talent-wise, the Celtics should win this in 4 games. But we all know we're bound for these 3 things. Jimmy Butler's going to become Jesus Christ for 1 game. Jason Tatum's going to forget he's a professional basketball player. And what's one more thing? You know what? We're going to get 1 fraud Kyle Lowry shooting game. So
we're going to get Joe Mazzulla forgetting to call timeout in the clutch time.
That hasn't cost the Celtics once this entire postseason. So you can keep trying to troll my guy. You can keep trying.
Danny laughing before you.
But you can keep trying to troll Joe Mazzulla, but his timeouts have not been an issue this entire postseason. It's a matter of players executing. At least my head coach is still here.
He is. Actually, your head coach had a sexual issue. He was
not my head
horny.
coach. Not my head coach.
Not my guy.
Not my head coach. You want to talk about Doc? You want to talk about Doc being horny? We remember Twitter. We remember what he did. But anyway, let's talk about basketball things. The Heat obviously have the coaching advantage. We know that.
I'll tell you
The
this.
Celtics have a talent advantage. Go ahead.
The Celtics should play Malcolm Brogdon much more this series.
Well, they'll probably just stick to a 7-man rotation if we're being quite honest.
But Malcolm Brogdon should get many more minutes. When he's out there, he looks like one of the best players on the team.
I disagree, actually. I don't think he's actually, I would say, of him, Smart, and Derek White, he's the second most inconsistent of the group. Smart has been pretty
when he's hitting.
Well, when he's not hitting, what? Because he can
Peyton Pritchard. Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Right there. Exactly.
No. I'm good off Peyton Pritchard minutes this postseason. But
re-sign Carson Edwards.
Oh, no, I'm really cool. Dude
got on that Saquon Barkley leg regimen. That was on that Saquon Barkley.
But nonetheless, the Celtics have the talent. I do expect the Heat off heart to get 2 games. I'm gonna go with this Boston Celtics in 6 games. If I were just looking at these teams, not knowing, like just on paper, then I would pick the Celtics in 4, but I do know that they're super trolls. However, if Jason Tatum, I'll tell you this, if Jason Tatum can like build off of this, the fourth quarter of game 6, which he built off that into game 7, which he scored 51. If he builds off that, they can win in 4 games. Because when Jason Tatum is playing like that, this could be bold. When he's playing like that, no one can go shot for shot with him because of how he plays on defense. Like, think of every other person that can go shot for shot. They can't play defense like that. Devin Booker can't play defense like that. Jimmy, maybe, but again, he had a couple bad games against New York. I will say, Steph Curry, he can outshoot you, but at the end of the day, he's got to play defense as well to try and stop you. So, I do see Danny's vision though. Malcolm Brogdon needs to have a good series. Everyone needs to obviously have a good series. I question if Boston will stay with the double big lineup, which I think they should, because they are 33-10 in their last 43 games of starting Al, Rob, Tatum, Brown, Smart. So I think they should stick with it. I think I like them in 6. Chris, what is your prediction for this series?
I think it's gonna come down to matchups and play style. Like I've had scenarios in my head where I've run through how Spoelstra are gonna defend Boston, and in my head, I think you put Bam and Jimmy on Tatum and Brown, and it may sound crazy, but I think Bam's the best defensive player in the NBA when he's locked in, and I think since Bam won't be able to kill on offense, I don't think he'll have a great offensive series in my opinion. So I think you really need to use him on defense. But saying all that to say, it's gonna come down to Jimmy if Jimmy can really carry like that, because the Heat really struggle to score points, and Boston's already got good defenders, and the way they play faster, shoot a lot of threes. So Boston could easily just run them off the court with scoring. So I think if the Heat struggle to score like they have sometimes, like even a lot of, like, I don't know if people know this, but those Knicks Heat games, they were like in the 90s a couple of times, or like low hundreds, and the Knicks suck at offense and kind of the sport in general. So they were struggling with that. So I think I got Celtics and I got Celtics in 6 as well. I got pretty much confidence in him. And I think Tatum will build on this. And I think Tatum, too, he's had some times with the Heat where he's had some bad shooting nights. I think he's going to come out really focused and locked in. And as long as Jaylen Brown has some grip on his shoes, I think he's okay. Because that's the most slippingest dude I've ever seen in my life. But as long as he can stand upright, nobody out there really going to really bother him for real. So I got Celtics in 6.
That's true.
Yeah, I already showed you all the stats. Who made? Yeah, Celtics. Yeah, I said Celtics in 6. Because I know they're going to troll for 2 games. No, they're going to troll for 3 games. Because I said Tatum forgets how to play basketball, Jimmy God mode, and Kyle Lowry fake shooting night.
And Cody
they have
Martin.
to survive. They got to survive one of them. Yes, and Martin and Gabe Vincent. They got to survive the fake shooting nights. I don't know which one of these games they can survive. It would be really cool if we could survive a God mode Jimmy night. That means Celtics win, Jimmy goes off, win-win for me. Really love Jimmy. I already told y'all the stats about Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. Their stats in elimination games, where Devin Booker's played 3 elimination games all in his prime. He averages like 14, 2, and 5 on 4 turnovers on 39% true shooting. And then Jason Tatum averages 26, 8, and 5, 3 turnovers a game, 55% true shooting. He's better, and he's been doing this since he was not allowed to sip a Bud Light. He's a better player, and a lot of the
Why Bud
talk
Light?
it.
It's true. It's true.
21, just drink. You know, he's been doing this since, bro. He's been doing this for a while, man. He's played 13 elimination games, and the kid's 25. He's unreal. But look, when a player starts playing good, the first person they like to throw out is, oh, he's better than Jason Tatum. First of all, no, he's not. I think every time I've seen a comparison to Jason Tatum, it's wrong. So people start talking about Devin Booker. Wrong.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Go ahead.
I think arguably the Celtics wiped the floor with every single player starting on the floor. Marcus Smart, I'm taking him over Lowry.
Yep, I would.
Jaylen Brown.
It depends on who's falling the most that day. I don't know. Whoever's falling.
I agree with you. Lowry's been solid.
Ain't nobody falling more than Marcus Smart. Know that.
Are you considering Jaylen Brown a 2-guard?
Yep.
He runs 2-guard for us, so yeah.
He's better than whoever they're putting there. So,
Hero will be back. Jack Hero.
I don't think Hero's going to be back till the finals.
They say Game 7 he could return if there's a Game 7.
Oh,
ain't going.
Tough, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe.
Tatum's better. Tatum and Jimmy's are really an argument, but I'm taking Tatum.
I think Tatum better.
It's
I
not.
Think Tatum better today. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, name one thing Jimmy Butler does better than Jason Tatum. Let's
Intensity.
be real.
That's
besides
it.
defense.
Intensity.
Besides defense.
Intensity.
And the gap between that and everything else is the same
It's not
thing
large.
with like Tatum and Booker. Exactly. Like, Tatum is still a very good defender, and that's what makes me mad. And nobody's gonna believe me.
The only
because I'm a Celtics fan. They think I'm
position
biased,
that you can really argue is Al Horford and Rob Will against Bam, because I think Bam's better than them.
Well, yeah, he's better than both of them, but you seen when both of them guarded the second best center,
the MVP.
in the. So if AD's a center, then the third best center. But anyway, you've seen what they did to Joel Embiid.
The Celtics completely can if their players play their potential, they can outrun the Heat, and I think that's what they do. Philadelphia team has lost to the team that wins the finals every year. Didn't in the past year. The Celtics
I will say this.
move on to the finals.
I will say this.
5 games. 5 games.
So you have Celtics in 5?
Yep.
You have 5. Me and Chris have 6. Knock on wood. Oh my God. But I will say this though. Since if Eric Spoelstra is bold enough to roll out Duncan Robinson, the Celtics can roll out Sam Hauser, and just like that, they have another 8-man lineup. Because quite frankly, they're the same. They're the same dude, except one of them makes 90 amps. So,
if Duncan Robinson steps on the court against the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla should scrap whatever they thought they were going to run, and you put Tatum and Brown in the middle of the court, and you fire up and guard Duncan Robinson, and you make them take Sid from Toy Story out the game. You make him do it because he can't play. He cannot play basketball in the quarterfinals. No thank you.
Sheen from Jimmy Neutron.
Yes, he's both of those people in one.
But yeah, so we all got the Celtics winning. These two got the Lakers winning. I got the Nuggets winning. And this is going to be awesome. But with that being said, we are on a bit of a time crunch, so we have a very short episode for you guys today. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're listening on the audio platform, download, like, and then vice versa. Come on over to the audio platform if you're on YouTube, and if you're on the audio platform, go on to YouTube. Do all the same things. Danny, Chris, any last remarks before we get on out of here?
I'm rooting for the Heat, but I knew the Celtics are going to win. That's all I'll say.
Screw you. You praying on my mental downfall.
I'm not praying your downfall. I just like Jimmy Butler. I told you that.
Yeah, I like Jimmy too.
I got 2 thoughts. One, Jared Vanderbilt should guard Jamal Murray, a good point in the series. Please, Darvingham, listen to me. I know I'm right. And 2, WNBA season starts on Friday, and I cannot wait because I'm a really big WNBA fan. And this is the year where big threes are formed in the WNBA. You got the Liberty's big 3, you got the Aces big 3. I think that's
big
dope.
3. You mean big 5s? You mean the Monstars?
Literally the Aces. I'm sorry. Literally the Aces have a big 7. They have like all their top 7 are like all stars. But I think it's gonna be a real good year for them. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome year for the WNBA. They sold out that Toronto crowd. That was awesome.
Dope.
Like that was really awesome. My final remark is I don't even want to hear this as recency bias, because a lot of people like it put playoffs, like playoff performance into their like rankings. You'll never hear the words Joel Embiid is better than Jason Tatum out of me ever again. Count it as bias as you want. One guy shows up. One guy isn't always there when you call, but he's always on time. One person just puts his phone on do not disturb and goes to bed. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe people just forget about it. Maybe people don't. But from AP,
I'll remember forever.
I'll blame you.
He
DC.
will.
I'll blame you.
He will remember. But from AP, DC, and CB, thank you for tuning into another episode, and we'll see you guys next week.